Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Berardi and Coke from Orta No Better. I think it's the first one we've done this season, isn't it?
It is. We didn't do one after Cardiff, did we? Because everyone was bollocksed, and then we didn't do one after Shrewsbury because I don't think anybody was available or something after Shrewsbury, and then first one.
Here we are, and
officially,
what a game to talk about, eh? Christ Almighty!
Yeah.
Roll us an intro, Luke, and we'll jump into the pool of shite.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta No Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
Utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Nothing spectacular, really. Still cursing us, isn't it, this intro?
I think he needs to get his off, mate. To be honest, I mean, if we were in a nutshell, if we were to describe the first week back in the Football League, I think we would probably cover it with those three words. Nothing spectacular, really. It's just been
it with absolute shite.
That's only two words, Jay, but yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's just, look, there's going to be more of them this season. There's going to be times when we're back here talking about and evaluating how the game's gone, and there's been a smash and grab. Neither team deserved to win that today. Both teams are absolute dog shit. I mean, you gets to sort of 85th minute and they start getting a little bit of pressure, a little bit of wind up. That Dembele on their left wing got a little bit of wind in his ass and realised that how shit Luke Ayling was, and decided, it's an easy job, so I'll start running at him a bit more. And look, he came out successful 9 times out of 10.
Him a new one.
He did. I think I joked that Luke Ayling must have felt like he'd been on the waltz as he got turned that many times in the first half or something like that. But yeah, he's not the biggest problem we've got at the moment, and I'm not going to really, I don't suppose, single out any of the 11 that were proud to wear the shirt today, and any subs that came on as well. But it shows, man. I mean, we got the teams come out before kickoff, Jay, and you and I both openly said, why the fuck have we only got 8 subs and why are 2 of them a fucking keeper?
Yeah.
And that set the attitude and the mood for the rest of the afternoon. I think before the game even begun. I didn't expect
like doom and gloom, didn't it, from the off?
I didn't expect. I think with what's going on recently, it's difficult when morale's down, and there's friends of players in the squad that have decided to down tools. It's not. I can imagine it's not a nice environment to be in at the moment around them. And I think we've got to take us hat off to Daniel Farker, really, because I mean he's coming to an absolute shit show at the minute. He's coming to a club that should be relegation favourites, promotion favourites, and now we're actually probably closer to the opposite end of the scale. And I joked with you earlier that. But yeah, I mean, it's impossible to get relegated. I'm just kidding. It's
Jesus.
just fucking. It's just, I don't know, Jay. I don't know how I feel. I knew what was gonna. I knew what we were letting ourselves in for once we got relegated in the Championship. We've been in there so long. We know it. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult. It is difficult. So there are going to be games that we go to, and look, realistically, although both teams were shit, we were the better of the two teams throughout the game. We controlled more of the possession. We controlled possession. We just didn't make anything happen in the final third. And yeah, I think if at kickoff when I saw that lineup, if you were to offer me a point, I would have probably, and it sounds fucking pathetic, I would have taken a point before kickoff. Yeah. As the game grew, probably felt if we had anything about us in the final third, we probably should have got a goal or two, but we just didn't make anything happen. So yeah, going into the last 5 or 10 minutes, I would have snapped your hand off for a draw as well. They got, as I said, they got a bit of wind about them. I just feel a bit deflated. I didn't expect any less. I didn't expect anybody on that team to set the world alight today and really, make a name for themselves. But it is what it is, and we are where we are.
The fact is, we keep putting out what's essentially a League Cup side in the Championship because we've got no choice.
Exactly. We were talking about it. We were talking about it, weren't we, Jay? We probably realistically had maybe Ampadu and Meslier, and maybe Struijk, who would realistically start if we had all our players fit and all of them actually wanted to play for the club. So it's tough. I mean, you've got to look at the likes of Drama probably comes back into that side over Bill. You've got Cooper. You've got Rodon now as well. You've got Firpo probably comes in there. Stewie Dallas, if he wasn't injured, would probably start for us. Rutter came on off the bench. You got Cine, Willie, who we'll probably come on to and talk about in a bit. Who else? Pat Bamford. They would probably likely be starting in the Championship.
Yeah, they would, yeah. I mean, how much setting though does that performance from Ayling today make the whole Max Aarons thing? Because we should never have had to see that again.
No, and look, I don't. It's very easy to single out players for having a shit performance. It is, and it's very, very easy. And he was shit today, but there was a lot of shit on the field, Jay. To be fair, I joked about what I said about him getting 10. He was up against somebody half his age who could run like shit, and he just tore him a new one. Luckily, he didn't have much of an end product, which was the only thing that stopped us probably going 3 or 4 down. But
he was one of those players anyway. You're thinking he's good but if he had end product, he'd probably be in a Premier League team.
Yeah. Exactly, and yeah. I mean, there was a lot wrong with today, but like I say, I think we've got we're in good hands under Farke, providing Farke decides that he wants to stay and manage this project. Because I fucking wouldn't if I was him. But
it's not what he signed up for, is it?
Well, no. Look, we should be one of the leading teams within the Championship. We've just been relegated. We had 3 seasons in the Premier League. We've got a bit of money. We've got some valuable players. We should be investing and buying players that can certainly do it in the Championship, but even potentially do it in the Premier League next season as well. They're the types of players, and you've only got to look at Ampadu and Darlow potentially can both do that. Rodon coming in as well. He could do that now. I know that I understand there's no obligation or option to buy Rodon, so he could very much be another Ben White story for us. But yeah, it's just wanking it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. This is basically how it's got me feeling. I'm going to show you my picture that I put in here. This is how I feel right now.
HMS Pistol League has sunken.
We'll play too much of that or we'll get a copyright claim. But that's how it feels right now. It's like all this optimism and like, oh yeah, new season, let's go. And it just feels, I feel like we've regressed like 5 years. I feel like I'm watching the old Leeds from before Bielsa. And like I've been, I'm like, I'm proper emotional. Everything's doom and gloom, or it's like we're going to win league or whatever, depending how it's gone. But like, I can't even muster up the energy to shout at the TV anymore. I'm just sat there quietly watching it, completely resigned to watching shit. There's just nothing. There's nothing beyond that, and the fact that it's done that to me, it leaves me just angry because I fucking love Leeds United, and to be sat there feeling like that every game, no optimism, no hope. It's disgusting that they've done this to us, and with this stuff with the players not wanting to play. It just feels like nobody at that club actually gives a shit about us fans. Like, we do not matter to any of them at all. They're all out for themselves. People that should have been like chomping at the bit to prove that they're not failures and get the club back have just bailed. And it just feels like rats leaving a sinking ship.
I think for me though, Jay, I still feel it's too early to judge the owners. I don't think it's been fair. I think they've come in, they've known who was potentially going to be going out with these loan contracts. They haven't expected Willie and Cine and now obviously others that we'll probably talk about in a little bit more detail in a short while to actually down tools, which is pathetic. It's pathetic, and it's left not only the club in a poor position, but it's left their teammates and Leeds United in an awful position. Imagine playing with somebody that thinks they're too good. You know what it's like. Too good. I'm too good for you, lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's. I'd want to smash their fucking heads in.
I
I honestly would. It makes me want to now. I already have a real hatred for these people.
Yeah.
And it's gone from that, from absolutely adoring them as players and wanting the very best for them and a great career, to actually wanting them to rot and break their fucking legs.
But you can only imagine what the atmosphere. You can only imagine what the atmosphere is like, though. Like players like Cooper will be kicking off. They won't want to know what to do with him. But
the problem we've got is Cooper isn't really good enough.
I know.
You know, he's leading us. He's leading us great, and he puts in a shift, and he is side before self. But we need to get over this passion. This real admiration for passion. When if they're not good enough, they shouldn't be near the first team. And I get Liam Cooper. I get he's been the club captain for however many years, and he does look like one of our better players when he does play. But that's not testament to his ability. It's testament to how shit we are.
Yeah, it's a damning indictment of the transfer policy
absolutely,
the last few years.
Absolutely. But look, I'm not sort of wheels falling off just yet. I think there's a lot of work for the 49ers to do over the next, sort of two and a half weeks to make sure we've got a squad capable of competing this season. Because that's ultimately where we need to be. You know, next year it's going to be even harder, because there'll be 3 more teams relegated from the Premier League in the Championship with us if we don't get promoted.
Exactly.
It's only going to get more difficult if you don't have a go at it at the first pop. First pop is your best chance of going straight back up. It's proven, you know. So I'm not wheels falling off, sort of crying myself to sleep at that stage just yet. I think we've shown a bit of character in the prior 2 games before today. I thought even today, the 11 that played showed a bit of character. They put themselves about. They're just not very good footballers, the majority of them. You can't knock them. I would rather have 11 Dan Jameses than 11 Sinisteras or Willie Nontos, even though Dan James was arguably average today, or even below average today, and switching off for a second gave away that penalty. I just want to talk about that penalty, because I hope everyone can see it now. I've learned how to do polls. I've put a poll in the chat. Now, I think the question was something: was it a penalty? Yes or no? Yeah. And it looks like the majority are saying yes. But I just wanted to share a picture with you, Jay, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
And it was somewhere up here. There we go. A penalty shout. So this is the penalty shout. I'm hoping everyone can see that loud and clear. Now, this is a couple of phases into the challenge. So this is almost when he's going down. Both feet are off the ground. Ethan Laird, he's chesting it there. The challenge has been made. And we can all quite clearly see that it's behind the white line. So whilst I think it's erratic and daft and probably a foul, I think the penalty has been very much bought for me. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I totally agree with that. I thought he went down really easily. The commentator said something similar about he was looking for that, but the ref had no choice, apparently. For me, I felt sorry for Dan James when that happened, because it were Ayling again that led to that. He failed to tackle Dembele, and he then put the ball across that resulted in that. That's Dan James, our winger, on the edge of our box trying to defend. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to hold it against him too badly. He didn't lunge in at him. He didn't do anything particularly bad. He
didn't even look at him. He didn't even see he was there. I think that was exactly. He was ball watching, and he didn't expect him to be there. And he's just come across him, and he's very much bought it. Don't get me wrong, but in modern day football, that is a foul, no matter where it was. I mean, but I think my biggest gripe with it is that he's bought it. You'd want it for your side, you know. If you're giving that, you want it every time. But he's bought it. But not only has he bought it, he's bought it from outside the area and dived that far in the area. The referee's fucking giving it, and that's my biggest gripe with it, I think.
I know, and it's like already we bring back VAR because the standard of officiating in this league seems to have got even worse. Didn't we have a 15-year-old reffing us in first game or something?
Fuck knows, man.
We had someone really young, didn't we? And then we've got this guy and 2 linesmen that can't see that either. It's just
the linesman didn't even flag for it, Jay. The linesman linesman is sort of above to the right of that picture, so he's pretty much in line.
Oh, so he didn't see anything wrong with it.
He didn't flag from it. I could well be corrected, but I'm sure I didn't see him flag. It's just fucking crap, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them, and there's going to be a lot more of go against us this season, Jay, and we've got to be prepared for that. You know, it's not going to be, you know, we know what it's like in this league, and we can't get away from that. Everybody loves to beat Leeds United. Everybody hates Leeds United. Everybody wants to see Leeds United fail in that league, and they do.
They do.
So
I mean, there's still people in Premier League want to see Leeds United fail. You know, everybody.
My mate was a Scum fan. My mate is a Scum fan, and he texted me straight after the game 3 laughing emojis.
Why'd you care? We're not famous anymore.
Exactly.
That game, though, I mean, going back to the game itself, because I made a few notes for once, because I always forget everything I've watched. It were clear to see like these guys had not been playing together in a first team capacity very long, because there were a lot of sort of little like attempts at interplay with sort of Pervader and James and even Sam Byram, and it just wasn't coming off. Like people weren't making the right runs for each other, and that's something that you'd think is going to improve as they play together more. But it's hard to not be hitting the ground running, isn't it, in the Championship? Because we dropped 5 points already in 2 games. You know what I mean? We're just throwing points away.
Yeah,
we ain't got time to like learn on the job at this level. Do you know?
No, and I think that's why we've missed a trick with Max Aarons now. I don't think obviously he clearly didn't want to come here, but you know, we need people who can potentially know Farke's system, because it's not going to be learned overnight. So the players that we bring in, the expectation for them to hit the ground running and do everything that's expected, because we are looking fit. And we're controlling the majority of the games. You know, it's just a fucking second of a brain fart or switching off or, you know, mistake, an error from our part. And it's capitalized. It always seems to be capitalized against us. So yeah, I'm not too disheartened with it at the minute, Jay. Look, we saw a few nice things today. I mean, in terms of positives, Archie Gray, outstanding again, ran the game.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I made a note on him actually about the fact that when he gets fouled or shoved off the ball or anything like that, if he doesn't get a free kick, or he doesn't complain or moan, he just gets up and gets back on with it and goes after him again. I like that. He's really mature for a kid.
Yeah. Shall we see what Matt's got to say?
I'm just going to fire through a couple of comments first, because they're building up and I don't want to just forget everybody. So we'll fire through and we can pull these guys in.
Go for it.
Right. So we got Danny, who is saying he got laughed at when he said we'd finish 14.
Resident negative man.
He loves it, doesn't
he? Yeah.
Russ is saying looks like Sinny's done a willy. I think we're going to get to that shortly. Russ again with big love for Jay and Luke. Cheers, Russ. Might even let him come in and talk soon, if he's lucky. Paul Brennan said hello to all. And
loves an emoji.
Big Luke and Jay. I don't blame Dan James. I haven't seen the highlights yet, only listened on the radio. At least Dan James wants to be at Leeds United, so respect to him. And yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, he's not complained. He's come back here, got stuck in. Skip says there comes a time when we need to ignore FFP and just go for it like Villa did, because this squad and depth is abysmal. What do you think of that, Luke? I'd agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt Jones says he has shit performance after shit performance, Luke. Things on about Ayling. And while teams now to beat Ayling, put a fast winger against him, he's not hard to beat. It's true. No. Andy A-Law says, talking about end product, Dan James, so frustrating. Yeah.
I think that's the only, but just on Dan James, look, a lot of people were very quick to say how poor he was today, but that's only because he made himself available and tried things. Look, his final ball was poor, but he tried to make things happen down that left wing.
He did.
And in terms of progression and moving us forward and getting us forward, there wasn't many others doing it in any shape or form. So look, while he didn't have a great game, and I completely agree that he didn't have a good game, I still don't think to single him out as arguably the worst player, I think is absolute mental. There was no worse player on the field today than Ayling, but is what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? And look, I find it a little bit unfair if we're going to single out players when we're in the position that we're in with this mutiny and these players that have decided to go rogue because they're too good to play for Leeds United. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't argue with that. Danny's saying we're never going to win the league. Farker got 4 years for a reason. It's a project. It's possibly a fair point. Paul Brennan should have been a draw. Dan James got put on loan last year, but he's come back and never complained about going out to Fulham. Loves Leeds in the area. To Willie, get rid ASAP, I think he means. Bring in negativity. You can't argue with that one. Our very own Smarty says we've all got to give it to the end of the transfer window before we lose our minds. Still faith in the club that they can get it sorted. Being sold down the river by the previous arsewipes. Again, can't really argue with that one. Russ backing you up, saying that the liner didn't flag. Smarty again saying we're an investment to the 49ers, so they want us back in the Prem. And Jack Glennie says, realistically, how many would you like to see in? I'd say 4.
Star that. We'll come to that towards the end. Keep that.
Yeah, no problem. Right, okay, we can bring in our first special guest. If you want, Luke, I'll let you do the honours.
G'day, Matt.
Hello. Oh,
how you doing, Matt?
All right.
I think you've actually got the only shirt that is worse than this season's third kit on ever. So, good job. But yeah, man. It was. What did you manage to catch it over there?
Oh, I watched some of it. Yeah, I got to see some of it. I wish I didn't. It was so bad.
Because if you're a member and you've got LUTV out there, you can actually access the game, can't you? If you're not in the UK.
I'm not quite sure.
Shh, that's how you watched it.
Yes.
I think you're right. Luke's good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, just general thoughts then, Matt. On as a whole, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the mutiny and the players that have decided not to play for us. What about the players that did? Is any positives for you to take out of that today that we could take into next Friday against West Brom?
I mean, Ampadu was all right. Gray was all right. I guess Byron was all right. And that's probably about it. The rest of them was so bad.
Are you sleeping in that shirt, Matt? Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think Ampadu looks an absolute steal. Look, we're not going to see the best of him when he's got nothing in front of him. I felt Stroik and Cresswell played really well today. They didn't have a lot to do, but they worked well as a unit, playing it across the back and stuff. But yeah, man, Byram's looking all right, but he's not a fucking left back. It's square pegs round holes. He's doing a job there for us, but is he doing enough of a job to be in a promotion pushing team for you, Matt? Do you think?
A backup, yes, but not as like the starter.
Completely agree.
We need another one.
I'd rather see him there though, a fullback playing on the opposite side than a centre back trying to play fullback.
Good point.
At least it's the same role.
Do you think Junior Firpo walks back into this team?
He probably gets a chance. Like I think he could do a job in the Championship, but then again, it's Firpo, so you never know.
Yeah, but one thing that has become
what does that mean?
There's Matt. Hey, Matt Ryan is drying in the background on that area. Have you got your pants on the area there, Matt Ryan?
No.
They're undercrackers.
That's my washing.
I think one thing that's become apparent is teams are going to let us have a lot of possession this year, and unless we can convert that into something, whether it's chances, shots, we had one shot on goal today, one shot on target, and that's very much to do with the lack of options, I think. But even still, we still had Dan James, who cost 20 odd million. We had Joffrey, who was quite good for a few games. We had Paveda, but then we had, bless him. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. But yeah, they've really. I'm really fucked off. More about the players that have let the team down than the players that have put a shirt on today and played. Now I'm not praising them for playing for Leeds United, because that would be most of our dream. Do you know what I mean? That would be most of our dream as a fan. But when you put yourself in a position where you're playing with allegedly your mates, teammates that don't want to come in and do a job and work with you and work for the greater of the club and all that bollocks, it's just fucking frustrating, really. And it just, yeah. I know we're going to do a segment on it in a bit, Jay. But I just wanted to sort of get the point across. Jamie Shackleton was playing right wing. Do you know what I mean? What a player though. I mean, he just loves Leeds. He's from Normanton or Old Toss or somewhere over that way, and he plays right back. He plays centre defensive midfield. He played right wing today. He will literally play anywhere for his mates, and that's that. I would rather finish.
It's like a wish Stuart Dallas, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he's like a Stuart Dallas, but not quite as good. But will run forever. You know.
Yeah, basically.
It's just frustrating when you've got we've got 8 on the bench and 2 of them are goalkeepers. So not only have we got one player less on the bench, but we've got 2 fucking goalies.
Yeah, I know. It's outrageous.
What do you make of our
muster up?
Yeah, what do you make of our chances this year, realistically, Matt? Then, if things, do you expect things to improve?
I mean, I hope so. If they don't improve, we're heading to League One. But yeah, I think we'll make the playoffs.
Really?
You do? Do you still think we'll make the playoffs? Do you expect a lot of activity over these next couple of weeks? I tell you what, it could have been the worst thing that ever happened winning these opening games with a shit squad to us.
It could have
been, yeah.
It could have been an alternative dimension.
It could have been Jesse Marsh and Liverpool all over again.
Yeah, it could. We've got to be realistic. Look, if we'd have gone and still won these 2 games in the league against shit opposition, the board might have quite easily said, well, if you can beat them with that squad, why do we need to start reinvesting? Do you know what I mean? What's the point in reinvestment when you've got a squad that's already doing it? So it could be a blessing in disguise. It could be a blessing in disguise that we've been so shit. But I'm sure there are some strong conversations going on. But anyway, sorry, Matt, I was going back to you. Do you expect a lot of activity over these next week or 2?
I think we need to be honest. Like, if we don't, it's kind of disappointing. We need players in now. Like, otherwise we have no one really.
Yeah.
And a lot of the players are like injury prone.
Yeah, no, completely. And we mentioned it. I don't know if you were here, Matt. We mentioned it right at the very start that we've actually got almost a starting 11 either decided to not play for us or on injured. So tough in it. But what realistically, then I'm going to ask you for one more thing because we have got somebody else who wants to jump on. One more question for you from me, if that's all right, Jay.
Yeah, go for it, Matt.
Yeah, where do we finish this season? I know you've already said playoffs, but what position in the league?
I'll say 5th or 6th. I'll say 5th.
You're going to go 5th. Okay.
You're optimistic.
My early prediction was 2nd. I think I'm probably obviously going to change that, but I'm not sure what I'm going to say yet. So I'm going to have a bit more of a think about it. But yeah, cool.
All right, Matt. Cheers for that, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for joining us all the way down under, motherfucker. Yeah, he's great, and he always comes on. Bless him. He's such a nice lad. But yeah, I mean, there's not going to be many differentials in terms of thoughts, I don't think, between whoever comes on today, Jay, because we're all frustrated as fuck, aren't we? You know,
yeah, we all watch the same shit.
We all watch the same telly. Yeah, I'll go to the same games, and I was going to go today. I'm so glad I didn't go today.
I tried to get a ticket.
Yeah, same. It's just absolutely wank, but is what it is. What can we do?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd probably have slipped my wrists if I'd gone, so it's probably a good thing that I didn't.
Hypothetical.
Obviously. It was just depressing, man. It's like we've got depression.
You'd have to use one of them little swords, though, wouldn't you, Jay? That people put them things that you eat corn on the cobs off.
Yeah, well, I like them.
That'd be like an absolute. That'd be like a samurai sword to you, wouldn't
it? Pretty much, mate. Yeah, it's like them cocktail umbrellas that I use when it's raining.
Yeah. Cool. Shall we get Russ in? Everyone loves Russ.
Everyone loves Russ. Russ.
Shall we get him in?
Bring him in. He's ready. Look, I can see him. He's got his headset on.
How's he doing?
All right. How are you?
Looks like he's at call centre.
This season's goalless shirt on. I've got lads.
Good lad.
Have you just done a shift selling insurance to old people, Ross?
No, I am. Jay, I always use this headset on my computer.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
How you doing anyway, mate? You okay?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you.
What did you think of that today?
I thought we started off well, but then as the game progressed, Birmingham pushed us back a bit. For me, like you, Jay Archie played really, really well for me today. I also thought after a shaky start to the back, I thought Creswell grew into the game as well and had a really good end to first half and good second half. And Ampadu's looking a really good signing as well.
Creswell definitely don't look out of place, does he, when he starts? He's maybe a little bit green, you know. He makes a couple of little errors, but he doesn't look like he's miles off it or anything.
No, it looked a bit shaky at the start. We passing out. Well, that's just probably just because he's not used to passing out from back. He's normally used to just sitting straight forward when he were playing for under 21s last season.
Millwall as well.
And Millwall, Millwall, he used to just get told to whack it straight downfield. But towards back end, they taught him how to play it out from the back of Millwall as well. So you know someone who supposed to ask him what he would like towards back end. And they out of the two, they preferred Creswell over Shackleton towards the back end of both of their loans last season. I was surprised to see Shackleton play right wing because when I saw the lineup come out, I thought Paveda were going to be right wing, Gray in the 10, and Shackleton a DM alongside Ampadu like he were. Well, I know he went Ampadu in midweek, but like he were in midweek against Shrewsbury, he was in the double pivot. Shackleton. I would be surprised if he played him out on right wing. Just some quotes just come in from Daniel Falk at the end.
Whoa! Steady on, Russ. We're going to come on to that.
He just put an article out just now, you see, which I've just got.
Go on then.
Go on, let him go. Let him go, Luke.
Have your moment.
Go on, Russ. It's all you.
Says, this is on the other members of the squad. They're not living on the moon. If players want to leave, it doesn't make life easy for the group, that's for sure. But I'm quite pragmatic that if someone doesn't want to be with us, he goes out of the dressing room and won't train with us. I only want people who are fully focused and fully committed. This club is bigger than any player or coach or board member. I'm not begging or praying, please play for us. This club is too big. He actually mentioned about Sinistera, which I know you'll come on to a little bit later on. But what he did say was he was unavailable. There'll be a time when we will talk about this situation. I don't explain more.
You fucking tell him, Russ.
Fair enough. That's it.
Hey, Russ, fucking fantastic, mate. I tell you what, you should bring out an audiobook. I could listen to you talk all night.
I could fall asleep to that voice.
No, Russ.
That's some breaking news just come out from Philly in the last couple of minutes, guys.
Well, you've spoiled it for me, Russ, because I had that.
That was his
screenshot.
quote.
I was going to post that up in a bit, but you know.
Hey, loads of love for you in the comments as well, Russ. Everywhere, look.
Yeah, I've just seen that.
Fucking burn it all down, Joe says.
Go on, Joe. Joe,
welcome to the show. Do you want to jump on, Joe? There's a link if you want to jump in. You can have a chat with us.
While we're watching the game, I watch you watch along earlier, Joe. Good work again, my friend, today.
And Joe's watching along with you.
Yeah, watching Joe's watching along.
Congratulate him too much. We need his subscribers. Don't we send them all?
So seeing as though you've given us that breakdown, Russ, what do you make of them comments?
I think Falk was quite right to do that. 'Cause I was speaking when the non-tour stuff came out last night to my dad, Luke, and both me and my dad, and I was speaking to some others as well, that with players who don't want to play for us, and my uncle said this as well, I won't pay them the wages for the rest of August, for the entirety of August and September. And what I would do as well is fine them 4 times as much money than they're currently on, 4 times as much, and tell them to give that back to the club or give it to the fans who go week in, week out.
Yeah. No, I look. The only problem, I don't want us to be in a position where we're liable for any fines or fine. You know, we continue to pay their wages. They've got to do a job for us, and I don't want, you know. Nonto's likely on peanuts in comparison to to Sinistera, and we only paid 3-4 million. It's not a massive loss to this club. 25-30 million that were quoted as wanting for him. Completely understand. Look, it's a big loss to us. But would you? How would you feel about just letting him rot in the reserves?
I won't even do that because why would you want to play who don't want to play for the club, going playing down with the reserves or under 21s, passing it off to the younger players? That sort of vibe, because when they make Mayfair come up, they might think, oh, this is the right way to go about it. Well, you should let them, if you want to do anything, tell them don't come to training ground. Train at home with your family. Stay away, and we don't want anyone there again.
Mr.
Well
Dodo
said.
Mr. Dodo said, Jesus, I just thought maybe put them in the under-21s, and Russ talking about bankrupting them.
Financially ruining them. Let's take everything. Let's take it all.
Take them to the cleaners.
That's it. That's it, Russ. Jesus Christ, you're on the right trail here, mate.
I always am, Jay. You should know me by now.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Bang on you, Russ.
Yeah, look, I've voiced my concerns and opinions on these absolute snakes of people. I would say that I would even drop a C-bomb on them because I think they are at this stage. And I actually put something in the brand earlier.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I put something in the brand earlier, and this is on Cine and Perkins. I'm just going to read this out. Daniel Farker said, we won't expand on Sinistera's unavailability after being asked if it was a non-tour situation. Asked about Perkins' absence, he said he'd rather have less subs if people don't show in training. Wants a fully committed group. Costa wants out of the club, and I'm happy for him to go. Fuck off, all of you.
Just on Perkins, though, Adam Pope did put out, and I've read the quote as well, Perkins is unwell. He was due to play for the under-21s last night and was turned up to training poorly. So he was sent home from training with under-21s yesterday and sent home from the training ground. And that's why Perkins wasn't involved today. Otherwise, I think he would have been the 9th player on the subs bench today.
I have actually, I work with somebody who used to coach somebody's husband. I work with the wife of somebody's husband who used to coach Perkins when he was a bit younger, and I've asked the question as to why he wasn't there and stuff. I've still not had a response on that yet, but as soon as I do, I will share that with everybody. But as a youth player, you wouldn't really much expect it. I think with Nonto, he was brought in as a youth player, very, very quickly fast tracked into the Premier League, and it's almost like everything's just gone over his head and up above his head. It's just fucking. I think it's the old prima donna type fucking shit. I think he's been ill advised with Nonto specifically. I think he's been very. Go on,
just
sorry.
on Nonto as well, Joe. I don't know if Zaniolo was a Roma last summer. Was now that Turkish side that we don't like. Last summer, he refused to play for Roma, and his agent is the same agent as Willie Nonto.
Yeah,
I saw that. It sounds like they've got a set game plan, this agency. And just tell them, go out and disrupt them as much as you can.
Nonto, there were 4 clubs I saw that were interested in Nonto. Burnley, Everton, Freiburg, and Inter Milan. And out of those 4, he wants to join Everton.
It don't make sense.
Just got beat today by Fulham. Anyway,
and Inter
before you,
Champions League,
just hold that thought.
Freiburg's in Europa League, and he's turning them 2 down to go to a bottom half Premier League side who's going to be relegated. Then
exactly. Let's see what podcast royalty and YouTube royalty's got to say about that. Welcome, Joe.
Are you, mate? All right. Royalty. All right, Russ, buddy. You all right?
No, but
royalty, he said. Yeah, good man.
It's the Berardi and Coke All-Star Edition.
Oh, man, we need to do this more often, especially now I've had a couple of beers, man. I'm buzzing.
I've got my pint of vodka. I needed it after.
I wish I was, bro. I wish mate, honestly, if I had the money to go out, I would, Luke. I'd just go. That'd be me. I'm skinned. Otherwise, I'd have gone. I'd be already there.
Burn that shirt. I'll give you 20 quid. That's a bottle of vodka.
It's fucking there as well.
Do it now. Come on then, mate. Well, I mean, we're all Leeds fans at the end of the day. These lads aren't Leeds fans. Where do you stand on this fucking absolute mutiny that's happening?
I'm just to be honest, mate, it's gone from anger to apathy. I just want it done. Do you know what I mean? If someone said to me on Twitter, you can go on holiday on Football Manager and FIFA. I just we could go on holiday at 1st of September and then be sorted. For me, we're just gonna have to fucking lump it until the transfer window's done. It's clear he needs additions. I mean, that squad today, I don't care how much of a happy clapper you are, it was diabolical. The players that were out there, look, this is the thing. Paveda's had 2 good games. Even I started to gas him up again. He was nowhere today. What? If you're going to use him as a 5-minute sub or something. Shackleton.
Nobody was though. Nobody.
No. Yeah. Shackleton shouldn't be playing.
Player out of that. No. It's hard to pull a player aside and say, "Oh well, we thought we were going to be good, but it was shit today," because everyone was. It's everybody.
Yeah, no. That's fair, but
do we think this? Do we think? I don't know if you heard, Joe, but do you think do you think this might be the wake up call, or this might actually be a bit of a fucking moment where the club actually realised, do you know what, we're going fucking nowhere as it stands. We've got players wanting to fuck off. We've got players that aren't good enough. Simply put, we need to do something. We need to invest. We need to get rid of these fucking absolute knobheads who think that they're too good for us. How do you stand? Where do you stand on Farker and his comments? I completely stand by him. I think everything he says is spot on.
100%. I just said on Twitter there, like, if anything, now what this shown us that he cares about the football club. I know he's picking a wage packet up at the end of the day, but he has said, listen, if you don't want to be here, then you're not going to be here. And he said he will speak on it, and I believe he will as well. Once the contract situation's sorted. But for me, Luke, it just means we've got a manager that we can get behind. So come again, I come back to it. Come September, we know the players that wanted to be here. We'll be aware of those that might not get their move. But listen, football's fickle. As long as it's not one of them that's refused to play. But football is fickle, and a few good performances and all will be forgiven. But and that's just being realistic, I think. Anyway, but. Yeah, we've got a manager that we can get behind. So come September, we can say, do you know what? For me, he cares. He does actually care. Because it'd have been easy for him to include players, or at least try to protect them, maybe. But he hadn't done that, you know what I mean? And ultimately today, he's gone with 2 goalkeepers on the fucking bench, as opposed to players maybe who said they want to go, and he's gone, don't bother, and made them train with the kids, as they say, as the saying goes. So... the thing is, though, like, I like the club's stance, especially on the Nonto situation, but also I don't want him here anymore. So it's like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're going to have to keel, aren't we? We're going to have to let him go, I think. But as long as we get some money, just don't. If it's too cheap, then say, nah, you can sit on the fucking bench.
Do you think they
almost all them reports, 15 million are out the window, aren't they? We're not going to let him go for that.
No,
not a chance, bro.
Do you think we almost missed a sentence or a line off the end of that last sentence when he says he's not for sale? And then we maybe should have added something along the lines of, until a club meets our true valuation and not any less.
That were in white, Luke. You had to highlight it to see it.
Hidden right.
No.
Hidden right. Yeah. I think the club have taken the perfect stance. I think it shows a bit of a transition we have gone through as a club from the previous owners, because they would have bent over and sold them for what,
100%.
But then again, when we're looking, if we're looking at comparisons, you've only got to look at how Calvin and how Raf conducted themselves when they played for us. They knew they were getting their moves, but they still put the fucking all in for the shirt. Do you know what I mean? Not once did we expect them to refuse not to play. Not once did we expect to go into a Premier League a Championship professional football game with not enough subs. What the fuck is that about?
How are we at this point? It feels like training in a river all over again.
Mate, we're only 2 games in as well. That's the thing. 2 games in, and I want it to end. After the game, I was like, fucking, we're 2 games in. I want it to end already. But I think
we were saying before, though, Judge, before you get into that bit, you're saying we're 2 games in. We're just saying if we'd won these games, it could have very well been like Jesse Marsh's Liverpool win. It would have papered over the cracks, and it would have let this board think, oh, we're not in too bad a shape. We don't need to push boat out too far in this window. Daniel's got on playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, there is that. Mate. You're probably bang on there. But there's a little part of me as well wishes Adams, Harrison, and Somerville were injured, because I want to know if they're up for it as well.
Yeah, that's
we'll never know. We'll never know.
Well, we will, because if they're uninjured before the end of September, they'll probably not play.
I don't think they're not going to be, though, are they? That's what I mean.
Probably not. Russ, do you think Harrison will play for us again, Russ?
I'm not sure if he will or not. With him having the release clause in his contract, I think, say, if someone comes in for him, say, a Villa who is struggling at the moment against Newcastle, currently 2-1 down, coming for him, or say a Brighton who's in Europe coming for him, I think he could potentially go then. or even if a Premier League club comes in from even the bottom half team who were in bottom half last season, so like West Ham coming from him, I think he could go there, but I don't think he'll play for us again. I'm not sure about Somerville though, because Somerville and Nanto are very, very close. So I think if Nanto does leave, I think Somerville will probably also leave as well.
Go with him, man. Go with him, then, innit?
That's the thing, though. He's not going to get to go to the same club with him, is he? If he leaves, he'll leave.
No.
They're still going to play in separate places. So you're
You know
either
what, take
pro
my
and you
hat
get
off
your
to
head down, or you're a bit of a dick and you make a song and dance.
And
And don't know how to take
Go
my
on,
hat off to, and it's not it's probably a backward compliment, but Jorginho Rutter has not. It's not happened. It's not happened for him yet. He's not found his feet. He's probably playing realistically out of position. He's not a striker, and he's still. You've not heard a word from him. He's still putting them Instagram posts up. He's still loving to be here. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like his. I mean, this might come back to bite me on the arse in a couple of weeks' time when he's fucking looking for the door light. But he's you know, he didn't look great today. He didn't look great when he came on. He hasn't looked great since he's been here, really, apart from Accrington when he first signed and won a couple of headers and that. But he's the most expensive player in our history, and he's not looking for a move.
I know.
But
no, exactly.
we've got little cocksure fucking Willie Nonto and his mate Sinisterra. The worry I've got with Sinisterra is he's got a massive price tag on his head. We paid a lot of money for him.
Oh,
You know, it's not like we've paid £3 million for him like Willie, and we're going to make a profit anyway. There's not a chance on this earth we let Sinisterra go for much less than we paid for him. Is my worry. So he's almost going to be priced
like 30 million for him.
I think we've got it.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, always from 30 million, I would say for Sydney if he does go. And I'm not sure how much we would get for Nonto now after he's refused to play twice.
More, Russ.
for
More
us.
now. We'll get more for him now. We've released that. Now we've released that statement. We will get more money for him than we were going to take, probably.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
what I
if
would
West
say
is
as
strong,
well,
Russ, and we don't cave, we'll get a good price for him.
Yeah, but what I'll say though is clubs will look at how he's behaved in the Shrewsbury game and today prior to those two games, and probably won't end up going. Because they probably won't want a player who's refused to play 2 games in a row for a club where it's currently at.
It don't work like that, Russ.
No, it doesn't, Jay. It doesn't. You're right. Man.
It's like people.
Let's be real here. If Greenwood doesn't get on at Man United, someone will take him. Someone will take him. This is the facts of it. So
probably us.
Him refusing to play.
God.
You can tell Luke's been on the drinks.
Can you imagine?
I know, fucking hell, man. He's from Bradford originally, isn't he? He's from Yorkshire originally.
49ers might not know who he is. He might end up with us, you know. Someone will turn up like, this kid's brilliant.
He could go to Bradford City then if he wants. If you don't want to, Man United don't want him, send him to Bradford City. They can have him because they've got Mark Hughes.
I don't think any fan base would want him. It's like it's kind of got the old what's his face? Him that played for Sheffield United.
Ched Evans.
Ched Evans. It's got the old Ched Evans about him now, and he's tarnished forever, regardless of what happens. And you know that even if he's not been done with anything,
mate, Mendy got out of jail.
Strong probability is a shitty human being.
Yeah.
Mendy got out of jail within 2 days. He had a new fucking club. Do you know what I mean? So let's be real. Do you know what I mean?
Say what you want on here. Say what you want. Fuck it. Not on yours.
That's true, though. No, I don't think. No, he did though, didn't he? He did though, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just Joe uncut this. He's come on here to say what he can't say on this show.
I know I haven't. No. I say what I fucking. Do you know what I did have though? I had naturally, I had Americans in the chat again. Bloody hell! I said, I went on this big eulogy, and I went, and I bet you're American, aren't you? Because he said that I was like, anyway. But then some guy said, "You're calling Dan James terrible. He was your best player," and I'm like, mate, you don't know. For me, can we talk about Dan? Because
go for it. Yeah, we've had a bit of a chat.
I think he's not great, man. He's really, really bad. His brain is just not wired up with his legs.
Do you know
because
what?
His decision making is terrible, man.
Do you know what, Joe?
Who's got him on set pieces? Who's got him on set pieces, by the way? What's that about?
I thought he was our biggest threat attacking wise today.
Yeah, but he was bad though, still, right?
He's bad. Look, no, there's no dressing it up. He's not a great player. He's never going to be a great player. But
no.
that shows you how bad we are when he was our
Yeah,
biggest
exactly.
threat with the ball in feet. Do you know what I mean?
I wrote a note here during the game, and it says, you can't see it, but it says 78, another aimless free kick from in our half to a Birmingham goal kick. Fuck me.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't look like Jay's beard.
All over the place.
You know,
A mate of mine said earlier about Dan James, he'd still be upset about us signing him if it had been at the original fee in the original transfer.
Yeah, I agree.
And yet we've paid 25 million for him, and he,
we're still paying for him, bro. We're still paying for him, aren't we?
I do agree with Luke though. He was a threat today. He was in and about, and he was making the runs. He was putting the effort down. It just can't. It's not happening for him at the end. It's not clicking for him.
I'll run around for him if they want for 90 minutes. It's fine, but it don't mean I'll do it
for 90 minutes.
No, you're right, bro. You're right.
I can't run for 90 seconds.
I'll be like Rocker after 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's one positive we have got to take is the lads are looking fit and they do seem to look like how they want to play. So everything that Farker and his team are doing is reflecting. It's just the players simply aren't good enough to do it. We haven't got the squad. Yeah. But I look at that squad. I look at that squad today, and that's arguably Russ. It's arguably our second 11. It's our cup 11. I
said that, bro, before the game. I said that's throwing a cup. Yeah, go on. Sorry, mate. I'm jumping in.
No, you're right. No, you're spot exactly. It's we've got that many people injured, and that many people don't give a fuck about the club. Who would rather, get the teddies out the pram and throw it all out, and they'd rather do that than actually play for arguably what people who are meant to be their mates that they're going to go out to dinner and train with every day. It's fucking bollocks.
They owe it to us to try and get the club back. They owe it to us, and they don't give a shit.
They were part of the problem last season. They got relegated.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's them that did it.
We paid his wage while he was injured.
No accountability.
Joffrey Gelhart's not it, is he? At what point do we say, do you know what?
What's his position?
No, exactly. I don't think he knows. I don't think managers know. And when he comes on, he doesn't touch the ball, man. He just doesn't do anything at all. So
in an interview with Radio Leeds the other week, he was asked about what his preferred position is, Joffrey, and he said his preferred position is number 10.
Yeah,
and none of the managers when he's played in the first team have played him in his natural position. They've always played him up front.
We tried him there, Russ, in pre-season. We tried him there, and he was shite.
Yeah,
we're getting some hammer here, lads.
He's clearly got. He's clearly got 2 minutes. We'll come on to that. He's clearly got some ability. He's clearly a good player. And
Clive's been banned from my channel.
Yeah, I recognise his name in the chat. So
he'll be saying, "Yeah, I bet he will."
You're a disruptor, Clive.
No, yeah. Anyway,
he's look. Just going back to Joffrey, sorry, he's clearly got something about him, but he's never going to be a top level striker or 10. He's never going to be even championship top sides. He just simply hasn't got it because I don't know if it's his size or what. He runs around really hard, and he's got these moments of brilliance where you've only got to look at was it Norwich away last season when he set up, or even maybe the season before when he set up Stroik at the back post for the header. It just came out of nothing. He's got that about him. But
there's magic in him.
We're only going to go back to our fickleness and talk about. We were labelling him the next Rooney, weren't we? It was going to be
yeah.
There were times when, like, the way that we were clamouring for Nonto to come off the bench in the Premier League, we were doing that for Joffrey at one time.
Yeah,
he was our game-changing player. I mean, that's where we were, and I feel like we're in a worse position now than then.
Yeah, and looking at
the bench today, he might not be it, but who's going to go in?
Yeah.
There's no one.
And looking at the bench today, there were no. When you look at that bench today, you looked in, there were no game changes on that bench today.
No,
there was 2 goalies, Russ.
Yeah, and
we had to put Joe Rondon.
Joe Rondon up top, new signing.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
As if you man to put him up top,
Imagine that. New signings coming on. Joe, will you go up front for us? He must have thought, "What have I walked into here?"
I know. We couldn't get a striker, Joe, so we brought you in to just do whatever. Instead of signing 4 players this window, we've signed you, Joe, and you're going to do all of it.
A ball nearly dropped to him as well. A ball nearly dropped him. And
So
I went,
close.
oh, and then I went, oh, it's Joe Rodon.
Imagine if he got on the end of it though. Fucking
Oh,
Damien.
mate, it'd have been scenes, wouldn't it? We'd all be sat here going, yes, 49 scene, get it.
He'd have been a Leeds legend from the off.
I was talking to my dad before kick-off, and he went, when he saw the two keepers on bench, he went, he's probably put Clausen on there to play up front if needed. But then we didn't even use him. But we had him on bench to play as an outfield player in case he needed it. In case we needed an extra option, because what's happened with Willie in Cine, and then Perkins being unavailable due to illness.
Yeah, should have stuck Darlow up there and just let him smash people. Just had him leaping around like a nutcase. It would have been great.
Yeah, I was surprised that Melier started today as well after Wixon. Because I saw the game back on when he was put on LUTV from the Shrewsbury game, and Darlow played really, really well. He wasn't a fault for their goal at all. You couldn't really do much about the Shrewsbury goal because he took the deflection. He did get an hand to it. We couldn't help be going into net after the deflection he got. So an input for wrong, and Melier dropped some clangers last season. So I thought when we signed him, I thought he was going to be coming being the number one goalkeeper, because he could have gone to Bournemouth for a bit second fiddle if he wanted to.
I think we all thought that, Russ, including Darlow himself, probably. But it's a weird one with Melier because ability-wise, he probably is ahead of Darlow. His form's been garbage for last year. But if you do want to sell him, I mean, we're not actively looking to sell him, but he is one of the people that would sell if a decent bid came. So if you don't play him, his value just goes down because it's like, well, can't be that important to you. He's not playing. So do you sit him on the bench and make him even more unhappy and then end up getting peanuts for him? Or do you stick with him and if a decent bid comes in, let him go? If it doesn't, you carry on with him, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jay, but for me, I think Darlow's shown in that 90 minutes against Shrewsbury that he's more than capable of. With the defence he had in front of me in that Shrewsbury game, I think he would have helped our defence a lot more today. And it probably would have helped out better with the decision at the end, which cost us the game.
Do you think he commands his area better than Melier and lines his defence up better?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think, because you saw in the game against Shrewsbury how the defence were always in a line together, whereas today, Ayling had pushed forward, and Byram stayed back at times, or vice versa. Whereas the other day, both fullbacks stayed back at points, and the back four stayed back in front of Darlow, whereas the rest of the outfield players against Shrewsbury all pushed up. So I think Darlow, behind with Darlow in there, the defence feel more comfortable staying back and going forward when they need to. Whereas Melier, having to look behind him if he's going to come for crosses or anything, or balls in behind, need to look if Melier's going to come or whether they need to deal with it. Whereas with Darlow, he commands his boxing. You could tell he shouts when balls coming in, that he's going to be getting there, so the defenders know not to go for it. Because it was like that all
I'll be honest,
season.
Russ. I'll be honest, mate. I don't think Meslier has been bad since he's been put back in the team. All of pre-season, first few games this season, I thought he's looked probably, arguably, back to his better self. Now we know he's not ever going to be that goalkeeper that fills you and instills you with confidence, but he's been catching balls that are usually a punch and flapped at. He's been a little bit more reliable, shall we say? But yeah, look, I think that's the least of his worries. He's swapping the goalie right now. I think that is probably one of the
just on Melier as well, Luke. What you just said there. Mate. I'm wondering whether he's doing performances like his at the moment because the window's open. So if any clubs are interested in him, showing him what he's capable of doing.
I love it.
And waiting.
I love it.
And then maybe end of the season, and maybe in September he'll probably go back to how he was towards back end of last season. Maybe.
I love it. Not in shop window anymore. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
So back just playing well in January as well if he's still at the club by that point.
He won't be in team if he's gone back to last season's form.
Just on that, then, how do we feel about Sinistera's injury? Sorry, not Sinistera's, Somerville's injury.
Oh, okay.
Is it an injury, or is he just one of Nonto's mates and there's going to be another scab? Where do we stand on it?
So for me, Somerville, I think he did get injured. Because you've seen a lot of players when they do that knee slide, they're always out for the next few weeks after the scoring last minute, like Somerville did in do that knee slide. So I think Somerville's is a genuine injury.
I'll put it a little bit more bluntly then. Who's going to be next?
What, to leave or to kick off?
No, to do another Willing on towards.
I think Somerville getting injured has caused the rest to do this because they've shit themselves and gone, well, what if I get injured?
Yeah, possibly. Or there is, if you're really cynical, you could.
That's my chicken. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, no worries, mate. You go enjoy.
My tease. No worries. Thanks. Thanks. See you later. Bye.
See you later, Joe.
If you want to be really cynical, you could think perhaps Somerville wasn't injured, and it was. I
can't believe Joe's got a chicken that makes a noise when it's cooked.
Same here. I couldn't believe that as well.
Anyway,
must be a weird chicken. Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that he wasn't injured and that it's just a cover story, and then somebody else has decided to do the same thing and they've just said that's it. But then you think, if that's happened, why did they just tell the truth about him? But I don't know. You just when there's this much shit going on, you start worrying, don't you? You start thinking.
A lot of people were saying to me earlier as well, with regards to Cine when he weren't available today. And you might have seen this, Luke, because it was in the DMs on Twitter in the group chat that we're in. Surely then, if the club knew about Cine at the same time that put the statement out about Willie, they would have probably mentioned Cine in that statement. But I got a message, I'm not going to say who from, last night, after the statement come out from about Willie saying Cine wasn't playing today, wasn't in the squad, he's not injured, and he's refused to play and refused to travel.
Who sent you that, Russ?
I can't say.
Good effort.
Good effort, Luke. I like it, but I can't say who said it, my friend.
All right. No. Well, hey, look, we are where we are. And look, if things don't improve, then, Jay, I say, share your, I know I take the piss out of you a little bit, but I do completely share your sentiment. Look, things do need to improve if we've got any, if we're going to keep any hope of keeping promotion alive. And I know it sounds stupid after 2 games.
I feel like it's already slipping away.
There is no way we can compete with that squad going into the rest of this season. There is absolutely no way. And now I know we've got a lot of players to come back. We're probably going to see Joe Rodon starting for us, who's probably a class above at this level. And yeah, I mean, there needs to be a lot of changes. Can we go back to that question that was asked earlier, Jay?
Which one was it? The one that I starred?
Yeah, that I just said come back to.
This one from Jack Glennie. Realistically, how many would you like to see?
Go on, Rush. You give us one last thought, and me and Jay will come on to this. Go on.
Just before you go on to that, with the, I just want to ask a question as well, which for people to get involved in the live chat as well, and for you two as well. If Rodon starts for the weekend or Friday night against West Brom, out of the 2 centre backs who started today, which one are you dropping?
Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. Cheers for joining us, Russ. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a poll on that, and then me and Jay are going to go on to the next bit. Is that all right, bud?
Yeah, that's fine. No
Cheers,
problem.
Russ. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see everyone, and keep the faith. We'll be all right this season. I'm telling you now.
Cheers, Russ.
Are we finishing, Russ?
3rd and winning the playoffs.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, I like that. All right, mate. We'll catch you later. Cheers, pal.
Catch you later.
Good old Russ. What a legend.
What an absolute legend. I'm just doing this poll now for Russ.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just put this graphic up to hold fire. Well,
this is fine.
No problems here. Everything's okay.
Hey, I tell you what, it's nice to have a few familiar faces on here. It seems like it's been.
Yeah, it does. It's been a while since we've done out where we've got anyone on with us. It's nice.
It's good though. It's good for. I tell you what, it's good for. I was in a fucking foul mood before we started, and just seeing Russ has put me in a good mood.
There you go. That's what he does. Sunshine indoors is Russ.
There we go. The poll's up now for if Rodon starts the next game, who does he replace? Who does he replace for you, Jay? Just out of interest.
Strike for me.
Really?
I want Cresswell to develop and become the player we hope he could be, and I want him to play. Unless he starts looking like it's like. No, I'm not saying like chuck him out because he's been shit. I'm just, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Cresswell to play. That's all, just because I favour.
Who's the better looking?
Homegrown talent. Who's the better looking? God, I don't know.
Both quite handsome chaps, aren't they?
They're very different looking. Very different looking lads.
Yeah, a bit of facial hair, a bit darker. And then
I'm going to go for Strike just because he looks like Count Dracula.
Yeah, I probably would pick Strike as well. if I was that way inclined. I mean,
hey, we can talk about anything on this podcast. We're inclusive.
Cole, do you want to get that bloody thing back up?
Hang on then. Right.
Question from Jack Glennie. Good question, actually. And I think this depends on how hard a ball we play in terms of letting these players leave Sinisterra and Nonto. You know, we were inundated with wingers, and we were almost saying, we don't need wingers because we didn't expect these guys to go, did we? Let's be honest. I mean, realistically, Sinisterra is too good for the Championship if he can stay fit. Nonto, we probably thought would have given us a year, but he turned out into be a little brat. So I think probably for me it very much depends on who we let go, but who also goes as well. So let's do it hypothetically. Let's say we've got 50 million in the coffers. Adams, Nonto go, or let's say 60 million and 70 million, and say Sinisterra goes. That would assume to me, Jay, I don't know about you, but would certainly need another winger to replace one of those two.
Mentally, we're going to go from like overloaded with wingers to having fuck all.
Yeah. Where else then, other than obviously a replacement winger for those two, would you like to see, and how many do you reckon?
Oh God, I'd want to see sort of. I'm trying to think of this in a realistic way, so I'd like to see 4, and I still don't think that'll happen, but I think we probably need 5 players in that squad, but I think we'd be lucky to get 4, so I'm going to say 4.
You think 4?
Bearing in mind we've signed 3.
Is that including 3 leaving? So that's saying Adams, Sinisterra, and Nonto leave. You still think 4?
If they all leave, then it's got to be 5. But if like a couple of them leave, I think 4.
So I think if they don't leave, I still think we need a versatile defender, left, right back, in some shape or form. I think we need a midfielder because Archie Gray's not going to play 46 games in every cup game this season.
Yeah, I don't know if Ian Ward's saying that we need a number 9 or if we need 9 players.
I think he's saying 9. We also need a creative midfielder.
Yeah,
that's 3 for me. A creative 10, somebody who can actually do it. Paveda's great, like Joe said, probably 5-10 minutes off the bench, give him an opportunity to change a game if we're behind or whatever. And then we've got obviously another winger to replace them. So that's 5, is it? 4 or 5? And then a centre forward. I still think we need a centre forward because Paddy Bamford's not going to stay fit all season, and Gigi Rutter is absolutely not a striker.
I feel for him, man. He's going to have
5 or 6.
He's going to have so much expectation on him, a poor kid. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm saying sort of 4 if we lose 2, but if we lose more than 2, it's got to be sort of 5, and you're saying 6. So yeah,
the
5.
majority of that team today would be good to come off the bench if we got an injury or somebody was flagging a bit tired. You know, none of them's done themselves any harm. I mean, even Shackleton runs his socks off, and as I said before, he'll play in any position for you. You know, he would play centre back. Yeah, but he's a squad player, like you say. Yeah,
most of that team were squad players with like 3 or 4 first teamers.
Yeah.
Or they should be squad players.
Yeah, Villa getting pumped by Newcastle. What a fucking day! 4-1. Yeah, 4-1.
Fantastic.
Cheers, Ripper. Sripper. So, I mean, we've sort of named a few there. Who would you like to see come in? Obviously, Hamer's not going to be coming now. Piro's still on the cards, do we reckon?
I'd still love to see Piro. Till he signs a deal, I think that's got to be considered possible. God, beyond that, I don't know. I'm rubbish.
Ilias Chair is the 10?
Coming up with players.
QPR?
Yeah, that'd be worth a shot, I guess. That wouldn't be a bad shout.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad shout. It's got to be somebody, like you say, like, I mean...
O'Brien in midfield?
Maybe.
But
I would like O'Brien, to be fair, because I wanted him to come last year, but I don't... That's one of them. I'm not sure why we haven't made a move. Is there a reason for it?
Yeah, but then we're getting into the territory and categories where they're actually championship players and they don't know, you know, what ideally what what we need if we're going to be pushing promotion. We don't really want to have a full revamp again. If we, I mean, realistically, right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be promoted. I mean, but we're only 2 games in. But ideally, sensibly, you want to be signing players who know the championship, but are probably a level above. So your Hamers, your Gyökeres, your Pirro potentially as well. Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't envy these scouts and these football club owners. I mean, I'd like to have their money, but
it's so hard though, isn't it? Because if you're looking for players who are better than the Championship, then you're always going to have Premier League clubs coming to take them, and that's what happened with Max Aarons.
Hang on a minute. Ian Ward said it's not Pirro. Angus has said we've put a bid in for a striker. I've missed that.
I've missed that completely. Is that breaking?
I tell you,
news?
I would like. It must be breaking news, but great point, Skip. Why would players look at this circus at the moment and want to come here? But that's that circus is
problem, isn't
it? The circus has been created by the players, hasn't it? You know.
Oh yeah. Well,
we go in contracts. We go in today with Sinisterra and Nonto lining up out wide, or one of them behind Rutter or whatever. It's a different ball game, isn't it? You know, these are players who are arguably a step above, but the less said about them, the better. Akpom, great shout.
Yeah, I'd have him.
Pirro ain't coming. Think he goes Saints if they sell Shea Adams to Bournemouth. Didn't realise that was a possibility either, Danny. I must admit, I haven't been overly interested in football in general, in terms of the oppositions and things like that.
I've got no passion at the moment for it. I'm just feel indifferent.
Yeah.
Ian Ward says Angus said that to fans at a service station tonight.
Right. Can you link us up and tweet us it or share it with us or something? John Perkins also wants away. I think that's been quashed by our correspondent from Rotherham. Russ has said that actually he's been unwell, so that's why he didn't play today. Again, more will come out on that as we find out and as everybody else finds out. But oh God, what a place! What a place to be. Yeah,
great.
Yeah. Oh, what else to say?
No, mate. I think we'll wrap it up. You haven't got anything else you want to bring up, have you?
Not particularly. No, I think we've probably covered everything. Just wanted to give a little shout out to Master Will Baker, who's watching. I've got to say hello to him. I had a text halfway through, so I've just got to. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I suppose it's not easy after a fucking game to talk about it. It's easy for us because we class it as therapy and makes us feel a bit better. It certainly does me, and means I don't have to talk about football now and argue with people on Twitter for the next hour or two. So, yeah, I'm done with it. But you know, the results over now. Look, I'm looking forward to next Friday.
Hang on, Clive's upset here because we haven't talked about Kinnear. Do you want to give him 30 seconds before we finish up?
Yeah, I don't know what he wants to talk about in terms of.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, you should come on, Clive, if you've got something that you want to talk about.
The link's in the bottom, Clive. I'm going to give you the next 3 minutes where me and Jay talk about absolute bollocks, just to make sure you don't want to come on and chat. To join us, the link's in the description. If you click that, it'll bring you in, and you can join us and tell us exactly what you want to talk about. Because I don't actually have a clue. Kinnear is still here. The club obviously feel he is valuable, and we need to keep him here. I mean, what else is there to talk about? Unless you join us by 20 past. 2 minutes left.
It's more than likely that he's there in a handover capacity for the next year or something.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? You don't just take over and then boot out everyone who knows how to run the place, do you? You might think he's done a shit job, Clive, but I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to say on him because we don't know how much of what's gone on is down to him or what input he's had on contracts and things like that. I know he's like the chief exec and all this, but if you've got Victor Orta, who's in the owner's ear, and the owner is just letting him do as he wants, how much say did Kinnear get, you know? And I'm not saying he's blameless or anything like that. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know enough about what he's done or his input to be able to chew him out and criticise him other than he's been part of a shit ownership group.
No, completely. And that's why we need you to come on and tell us, I suppose. It's not because we don't think he's blameless, but tell us.
Yeah, exactly. No one's saying that he's not been part of a shit set of owners and that he's not done any wrong. It's just we don't know enough about behind the scenes to call him out.
Ian's just sent us a link, so let's just see if we can get that up quickly. I think this is around. I'm guessing. Don't know what he sent us it on. It's not on Twitter.
Is it not?
No, I can't see it. Maybe an email. I ain't got access to the emails right now. We'll pick it up though. We'll pick it up with you.
We'll bring it up Tuesday anyway.
Pick it up. Put it in the comments. We'll have a chat about it. Anybody else? Anything? Have you got anything else, Jay? We want to have a chat about?
No, mate. I think just look out for us coming back Tuesday is all I've got to say. And
don't know who's on there. We haven't seen the road for this year. We're still blagging it.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure all that out. And a shout out for your pals as well, Luke Andy's Man Club.
Good shout. Yeah.
If anybody wants to speak to anybody, or you just want to chill out with some lads, and
especially after a Leeds loss,
folk,
it's probably a little bit more apt in it, after a Leeds United loss. So
that's it.
Don't let football ruin your weekend. I'm past that now. Don't let it ruin it. But it's football at the end of the day.
It is, and if it's like the last straw on top of a load of other shit you've had, don't let it do that to you. Speak to somebody.
Yeah. Cool. All right, we'll be back Tuesday.
Right.
Don't see you fruit week, Jay. I'll see you trying to get up the curb.